Circle these dates, July 20th to July 24th. They're not just days passing by. The moon and planetary movements during these exact days are unlocking an energy that will bring clarity, movement, and unexpected shifts that lead you closer to what you're truly meant for. In this window, you'll see the truth about where you're wasting your time, who is genuinely aligned with you, and what has silently been holding you back. People may show their true colors in ways that surprise you, but this isn't about loss, it's about alignment. It's life clearing space for what's overdue to arrive. From July 20th to July 24th, the moon moves through its final waning phases before the Leo new moon, amplifying release and forward momentum at the same time. During these exact days, it aligns with Regulus, the royal star of the lion, an ancient marker of courage and elevation. In astrology, Regulus has always been linked with destiny, moments that lift you into a higher version of yourself. At the same time, Mercury crosses into a critical degree in Virgo, sharpening clarity and cutting through distractions. What was confusing begins to make sense. Saturn continues its retrograde in Pisces, quietly dissolving illusions that no longer hold weight. This mix of lunar and planetary forces creates a rare, energetic opening where truth can't stay hidden. The ancients saw this period as a lion's gate before the gate, a prelude to the larger August alignments. It's a time when the universe rearranges the pieces so you can finally see the bigger picture. On July 20th, the moon aligns with Regulus, the royal star that ancient astrologers called the marker of hidden strength and long-awaited recognition. This is the same star that guided leaders and visionaries believed to open doors that were previously locked. Its influence is about clarity without hesitation, about stepping into a path that feels undeniably right without the weight of second guess. It's the kind of shift that doesn't announce itself loudly, but quietly transforms the direction you're willing to move toward. July 21st carries its own precision as Mercury reaches a powerful degree in Virgo. This is the moment where scattered thoughts organize themselves, where distractions lose their grip, and the true priorities stand out with undeniable simplicity. In ancient teachings, this alignment was called the scribe's moment, a time when new understanding is written into your personal path. It's not about overthinking, it's about suddenly knowing what's worth your time and what no longer deserves space. Together, these 2 days act as an inner upgrade, like a quiet reset of your entire energetic field. What no longer reflects who you are naturally starts to lose its influence. It's a clearing that makes room for higher alignment, not in an abstract way, but in the very real details of your daily life. Why this matters is because the clarity that rises during July 20th and 21st creates ripples that will shape the next chapter you step into. These are not random shifts. They are deliberate cosmic nudges aligning you closer to what has been waiting for you all along. These dates create a turning point where your inner world and outer reality finally begin to sync in ways you can no longer overlook. July 22nd opens a stream of movement that works through the body and mind in quiet but undeniable ways. You may catch yourself waking earlier than usual with thoughts that feel clearer than they have in weeks, or the opposite might unfold, waves of exhaustion arriving suddenly, making you crave stillness and more space than usual. It isn't random, it's the nervous system recalibrating to a higher pace, adjusting to the frequency of what's coming next. Emotions move differently during this time. What you've kept neatly tucked away may rise without warning, not to overwhelm you, but to finally leave your system. Moments of unexpected sadness can arrive like passing weather, quickly followed by relief that makes room for a lighter state of mind. Old frustration or grief can surface briefly, only to dissolve as if it no longer has a reason to stay. This is how the inner layers clear themselves when they're ready for renewal. Physically, you might notice small shifts that are hard to explain, a ringing in the ears that comes and goes without reason, tingling in the palms or forehead, almost like static electricity, reminding you that something subtle yet real is activating beneath the surface. Even your appetite or sleep patterns might change, swinging between extremes as your system integrates new levels of energy. On July 23rd, the emotional atmosphere begins to balance out. After the release, there's a quiet steadiness that starts to settle in, almost like finding new ground beneath your feet. What once felt heavy loses its grip. Even the people or situations that used to drain you seem to matter less. It's not disconnection, it's alignment with what truly matches where you're heading. None of these changes are setbacks, they're markers of growth, signs that your mind, emotions and physical body are syncing with a wider, more supportive rhythm. The intensity eases into clarity, and the clarity opens space for what was meant to arrive all along. In this week, the atmosphere carries a raw honesty that can't be avoided. Layers of old resistance start to come undone, revealing emotions that were easier to push aside before. Anger that was swallowed to keep the peace. Sadness that was buried under endless distractions, and the quiet guilt that lingers from choices you've outgrown, all begin to surface, asking to be acknowledged rather than ignored. It's not about reliving the past, it's about clearing the weight it left behind. What rises during this phase isn't random. It's the part of you that has been quietly waiting for space to speak. The shadow self, those traits you disowned to fit in, to survive, to be accepted, steps forward, not to harm, but to show you where your power has been locked away. Michael Zarian often said that what we repress doesn't disappear. It becomes the architect of the life we think we don't want. This is the moment where that architecture starts to crumble. On July 24th, the emotional tide peaks. The illusions you've outgrown become impossible to maintain. People around you might reflect this too, showing behaviors that trigger memories of old wounds. The temptation may be to blame, to pull away, or to suppress it once more. But the wiser move is observation, to sit with the discomfort long enough to see the truth behind it. These reactions are only mirrors, helping you locate the unresolved parts of yourself that are ready to be released. This process is not punishment. It is an invitation to reclaim what was lost when you were taught to hide your complexity. The fear of being misunderstood, the shame of mistakes that no longer define you, the lingering doubt that keeps you from fully stepping into your own authority. These are the fragments waiting to be seen with new eyes. By acknowledging them, you're not sinking into darkness. You're breaking the cycle of it. You're dissolving the karmic loops that have silently shaped your choices for years. The shadow is not an enemy, it's a teacher. It shows you what still needs love. It shows you where you abandoned yourself. And when you allow it to be integrated, the heaviness begins to lose its hold. July's sky is rewriting the rhythm of your inner world in ways you can't ignore. The moon during July 20th to 24th carries an electric charge, almost like a cosmic signal reaching deep into the core of who you are. It's a pulse that stirs what's been dormant, your hidden strengths, your forgotten clarity, and the parts of you that have been waiting for permission to step forward. This isn't about becoming someone new, it's about shedding the layers that were never truly you. Like static clearing from a radio signal, your energy starts to align with a clearer frequency. You might notice a sharper sense of what actually matters. A sudden pull toward what feels aligned, even if you can't explain why. Old distractions lose their hold, and what was once blurred comes into sharper focus without effort. The light codes streaming through these days are like software upgrades for your soul. They activate the deeper intelligence of your energy field, awakening spiritual gifts that have been quiet until now. Your intuition becomes louder, your inner guidance stronger, and the subtle ways you've been supported by the unseen become undeniable. For some, it may come as a sudden creative surge, a rush of ideas or insights that feel beyond logic. For others, it's an unexplainable peace, like the storm inside has finally stilled enough for clarity to land. Your chakras respond like gateways being reset. The throat begins to clear, making it easier to speak your truth without hesitation. The solar plexus strengthens, reminding you that you are not powerless to circumstances, and the heart expands, not in the sentimental sense, but as a force that makes you less afraid to receive, to trust, to believe in what's possible. This period also activates a higher timeline for your relationships and purpose. People who align with the version of you that's emerging will naturally gravitate toward you, while those who no longer resonate will quietly fade. There's no need to chase or force. This is an organic restructuring. Even opportunities that once felt out of reach may suddenly open because your energy no longer blocks them. It's a reset that doesn't just shift your outer life. It upgrades the way you hold yourself, the way you respond, the way you choose. The moon's influence during these days isn't soft or passive. It's catalytic. It cracks open the shell of complacency and invites you into a more authentic state of being. You are stepping into a version of yourself that carries less weight and more precision. And as this activation unfolds, you may realize that what you thought was missing was never outside of you. It was waiting for this exact alignment to awaken. Entire systems of thought and belief are being rearranged in ways that cannot be ignored. The moon's movement during this week opens a subtle but undeniable shift in how collective consciousness responds to truth. What once stayed hidden beneath layers of distraction begins to surface, not as chaos, but as a quiet reorganization of priorities on a global scale. You may see it in small ways. Conversations shifting toward deeper honesty. Communities breaking away from what no longer feels real. People finally naming what has been avoided for years. July 24th acts like a hinge point where the collective vibration tilts into a higher resonance. It's not about one singular event. It's a build-up of countless moments where human hearts align with a deeper integrity. Technology, media, and even social dynamics reflect this change, revealing the cracks in old systems while also highlighting new ways forward. This is why you might sense an increase in synchronicities, more alignment in opportunities, or sudden closures of paths that were never meant to last. On a larger scale, the moon's shift creates an energetic echo that influences how humanity holds its shared future. It's like a collective exhale of stagnant energy that makes room for what has long been waiting to emerge. The people you see rising in influence now will carry a different tone, not driven by empty ambition, but by a genuine call to serve something larger than themselves. This is how the new leaders, the quiet visionaries, begin to take root. Your personal growth during this window is not separate from this global wave. It feeds into it. Each time you choose honesty over avoidance, presence over distraction, and alignment over compromise, you amplify a frequency that ripples beyond you. The collective field is not abstract. It is shaped by every individual who dares to embody clarity. What you release on a personal level, old attachments, outdated identities, unspoken resentment, lightens the load for humanity as a whole. The moon's influence doesn't just awaken individuals, it strengthens the connective tissue between them. Communities built on genuine resonance will feel stronger, more magnetic. You may witness people gathering in ways that prioritize shared values, purpose, and authentic exchange rather than shallow performance. Friendships and alliances will deepen, while those based on convenience or pretense will naturally dissolve without drama. Global systems too are responding. Financial markets, political structures, and social networks are quietly mirroring the same energetic recalibration. It's not that everything will transform overnight, but the cracks in outdated foundations become harder to ignore. You might see sudden revelations in the news, shifts in collective priorities, or movements that gain unexpected momentum. These are not random. They are the outward reflections of a deeper internal awakening happening across humanity. On a soul level, this period is like a tuning fork for the planet. When the moon activates these frequencies, it harmonizes what has been dissonant for too long. People are drawn toward higher clarity, even if they can't fully explain why. They may change jobs, relocate, or shift their relationships without having a clear plan. This is not confusion. It's an instinctive realignment with what feels true beyond logic. It's also why the pace of life might feel different. Some things accelerate effortlessly, while others slow down or completely stop. Time bends to match the level of awareness that is rising. The rush to maintain the old pace, simply doesn't hold the same grip. And in that space, new timelines emerge, ones that are built on sustainability, purpose, and deeper connection. The global energy shift also awakens ancestral codes stored within humanity. You might see more interest in ancient practices, indigenous wisdom, or forgotten knowledge resurfacing. It's not about going backward, it's about retrieving what was lost and integrating it into the future. These teachings hold keys for navigating what's coming next, reminding humanity that wisdom is cyclical, not linear. As this awakening spreads, the boundaries between personal and collective healing blur. When you clear old emotional weight, it makes space for more compassion toward others. When you step into your authentic path, it inspires someone else to do the same. The ripple effect is exponential. What seems like a single personal breakthrough can shift the course of an entire group, community, or even a generation. This moon's movement shows that humanity is at a threshold, but it's not a doorway of fear, it's an invitation into deeper coherence. The collective is learning that real power doesn't come from control, but from alignment with what is true and life-giving. And you are part of this recalibration, contributing in ways you may not fully see yet. New layers of awareness are anchoring into daily life, shaping the way people interact, create and move through their choices. Communities are beginning to reorganize themselves around authenticity rather than surface-level agreement. You may see more people leaving environments that feel restrictive and gravitating towards spaces where their voice actually matters. This quiet rearrangement is happening everywhere, from friendships to workplaces to larger social systems. It's not forced. It's the natural outcome of clarity rising within the collective. This clarity also touches relationships in powerful ways. Dynamics that were held together by routine or unspoken compromises are being exposed for what they are. Some connections will deepen into genuine partnership, while others dissolve without hostility, simply because they no longer resonate with who people are becoming. It's not about loss or gain, it's about matching frequencies that truly align. Those who cross paths during this window will carry a different quality of connection, one that feels purposeful rather than coincidental. In the larger narrative, humanity is stepping into a phase where collaboration and co-creation begin to replace competition. You may notice more people openly sharing their knowledge, their resources, and their support without expectation of immediate return. Movements that once struggled to gain traction suddenly find momentum because the collective field is more receptive. This is how systemic transformation begins, not with loud revolutions, but with countless quiet shifts in individual priorities that accumulate into undeniable waves. Creative expression is also receiving a surge. Artists, thinkers, healers, and innovators are tapping into inspiration that feels new yet deeply familiar, as if drawn from a well beyond the limitations of personal experience. Music, art, and ideas produced during this period will carry a resonance that touches many people on a level they can't quite explain. It won't just entertain, it will activate. These creations become part of the collective evolution, reminding humanity of its deeper potential. Even technology will reflect this awakening. Innovations focused on connection, sustainability, and human well-being will begin to overshadow those driven by exploitation or distraction. The collective mind is outgrowing the old appetite for noise and superficiality, seeking tools and platforms that amplify meaning rather than dilute it. You may see the first signs of this shift in unexpected announcements, breakthroughs, or collaborations that redefine what progress looks like. On a personal level, this global energy encourages you to release the idea that you are separate from what is happening. Every time you embody your truth, you influence the field. Every time you choose compassion over judgment, you contribute to a larger movement toward unity. It's not abstract. Your decisions ripple outward in ways you may never fully see, but they matter. The moon's movement through this phase is not just a backdrop. It acts like a conductor, weaving individual awakenings into a larger symphony. Humanity is learning to tune itself to operate with more coherence, and to let go of what was never sustainable. And while the changes may appear subtle at first, they carry a momentum that will shape the months ahead. This is a time where you're not only invited to witness the shift, you're being called to participate in it. Through your choices, your voice, and your presence,
You are helping build the very reality you long to see. And while it may seem like a collective journey, it always begins with one simple truth. When you step into your higher clarity, the entire world changes with you. Subtle rearrangements are happening in ways that can't be measured by old definitions of progress. People are beginning to value time differently, choosing depth over speed, purpose over obligation. What once felt urgent is losing its grip, and what was quietly waiting for attention is now taking.
This is not about abandoning responsibility. It's about realizing which ones truly matter and which were never yours to carry in the first place. You may see a shift in how communities organize themselves. Leadership is moving away from hierarchy and leaning towards shared wisdom. Groups that once relied on a single voice are now realizing the strength of collective insight. Conversations around healing, justice, and equality are no longer fringe. They're entering mainstream dialogue with a force that cannot be ignored. It's as though humanity is learning to listen in a new way. And what's being heard is reshaping what people believe is possible. Financial and material priorities are also being questioned. More people are stepping away from hollow pursuits of status and leaning toward choices that bring fulfillment. Markets and industries that profit from disconnection may struggle, while those that nurture community and authenticity will thrive. It's a shift in values that cannot be reversed because it's rooted in genuine awakening, not fleeting trends. This awakening is also rewriting how success is defined. It's no longer just about achievement or accumulation. It's about alignment with deeper truth. You'll notice individuals stepping into roles they never imagined for themselves, not out of ambition, but because they can no longer deny the inner nudge guiding them toward their real contribution. Careers, projects, and collaborations born during this window will carry longevity because they are rooted in integrity rather than survival. On a collective level, the emotional tone is softening. Even in the midst of disagreements or uncertainty, there is a growing recognition that division cannot sustain itself. More people are choosing dialogue over conflict, empathy over reaction. This doesn't mean the world becomes instantly harmonious, but it does mean the seeds of understanding are being planted in ways that will continue to grow. These days are meant for anchoring what has been revealed, not rushing toward the next distraction. The energy shift sparked between July 20th and 24th carries momentum that lingers, waiting for you to shape it into something intentional. What happens now will echo far beyond this week if you meet it with presence and clarity. Start by creating stillness in your surrounding. Light a single candle, not as decoration, but as a signal to yourself that you're entering a moment of alignment. Let the soft glow remind you that your inner light is just as steady, no matter how much the outer world shifts. Place your hands over your heart for a few breaths, acknowledging that you're holding both your own transformation and a piece of the collective renewal. Writing can also unlock truths, but words rarely speak aloud. Take a blank page and let your hand move without overthinking. Ask yourself what no longer belongs in your life and what is waiting for your commitment. Don't worry about perfect sentences. What matters is honesty. There is power in sound right now. Speak your own name out loud, followed by words that affirm who you are becoming. For example, I am aligned with my highest path, or I step forward with clarity and strength. These are not just affirmations, they're activations. The vibration of your own voice sends a signal into your energy field that reshapes how you experience the days ahead. If you can spend time with water, it doesn't have to be the ocean or a river. It can simply be a bowl of water infused with intention. Dip your fingertips in it and imagine washing away anything heavy from your energy. Then trace a line of water gently along your wrists, symbolizing renewal. Water remembers, and in this act you're telling it what you are ready to release and what you are ready to call in. Movement also integrates energy better than stillness alone. Stretch, sway, or walk with deliberate awareness. With each motion, imagine yourself stepping further into the version of you that already exists on the other side of doubt. This isn't about perfection or performance. It's about inhabiting your body as a vessel for what's arrived. For those who wish to go deeper, Sit quietly after sunset and visualize the moon above you as a mirror. Imagine it reflecting only the purest aspects of your essence, stripping away the outdated layers you no longer need to carry. Stay with that image for a few minutes and let it imprint into your mind. You're not asking for answers, you're allowing your inner wisdom to rise without interference. Finally, close your day with gratitude that goes beyond a simple list. Think of one moment from the past week where you felt a quiet nudge toward alignment, even if it didn't make sense at the time. Hold that memory close and thank yourself for noticing the subtle ways you've been guided. Gratitude is an amplifier magnifying the very things you want to expand. These practices aren't about ritual for the sake of ritual. They are touch points, ways of telling your mind, body, and soul that you are consciously participating in this shift. When repeated with intention, they weave unseen threads into your path, creating a future that feels deliberate rather than accidental. The transformations you've been sensing are no longer distant. They're unfolding in the simplest of choices, the smallest of actions, and the quiet commitment you bring to your own evolution. July 20th to 24th is not just another span of time, it's a threshold that reshapes what's ahead for you. These days carry a rare alignment that clears distractions and pulls you closer to what's truly meant to stay. Let this message echo as a reminder that you are part of something larger than the moments you can see. Comment this power phrase to seal it within you. I claim my alignment with the highest path. By writing it, you're anchoring what is already unfolding for your soul in these decisive days. There's someone in your world who silently needs this same clarity, who is waiting for a spark they can't name. Be that spark. And if you want to keep walking this path with guidance that meets you where you are, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. As you move through the shifts of this week, carry the knowing that nothing is leaving without purpose, and nothing is arriving without meaning. You are being refined, guided, and elevated into the version of you that has always been waiting. Until we meet in the next message, may you find strength in what's ending, and courage in what's beginning.